Today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about present simple and present continuous. Why is one of them simple and one of them continuous? If you want to know the answer, just keep watching. Hi and welcome to Teacher Phil, where I help people like you improve their English. Let's start with a quick test for you. Look at this sentence. Which verb form do we have to use here? Present simple or present continuous? Feel free to pause the video and think about the answer for a moment. Okay, the correct answer is present simple. I get up at 7 o'clock every day. Now think about why we have to use the present simple in this sentence. Yes, exactly. That's it. We use the present simple in this sentence because we repeat the action every day. We use the present simple to talk about habits, routines, repeated actions and states in the present. The character of the present simple is one of stability and permanence. Keep this in mind for later in the video. But first, let's have a look at a few examples. With I, you, we and they. We just use the base form of the verb in the present simple. However, with he, she and it, which is the third person singular, we have to add an s to the verb in present simple. When we do this, we have to be careful with the spelling. Regular verbs like eat simply become eats in the third person singular. Verbs with more than one syllable ending in y need to change the y to I, and we add es at the end. Verbs whose last sound is related to s, like watch or kiss, add es at the end in the third person singular. Similarly, verbs like go or do also add es at the end, and have becomes has in the third person singular. To make the negative form in the present simple, we have to use the auxiliary verbs do and does. Look at these examples. In the first and second person singular, as well as in all plural forms, we use don't as the auxiliary verb to make it negative. However, in the third person singular, with he, she or it, we use doesn't as the negative form in the present simple. Note that don't is the contracted form of do not, and doesn't is the contracted form of does not. To ask questions in the present simple, we again use the auxiliary verbs do and does. Look at these examples. Notice the word order in these questions. We use the auxiliary verb do or does before the subject in questions in the present simple. If you want to learn more about questions in English, you can also check out my other video. You will see a card somewhere here on your screen. Apart from spelling and word order, pronunciation can also be a little bit tricky. But if you know the rules, it becomes pretty easy. Look at these examples from earlier again. Eats, watches. Can you hear the difference? In watches, we add a little e sound. We do this with verbs that end in sounds related to s. For example, kiss becomes kisses, push becomes pushes, watch becomes watches, and fix becomes fixes. So remember, if the last sound of the verb is related to s, we say is at the end of the third person singular. Okay, these are all the basics about present simple, so let's move on to present continuous. Now let's see how we use the present continuous. And to get started, let's look at a few examples. We use the present continuous to talk about actions happening at the moment of speaking. We often use time expressions like now, right now, or at the moment to show this. Remember that present simple is permanent and stable. The present continuous has the character of being temporary and changing, pretty much the opposite of the present simple. All the actions in the examples are going to end at some point in the future, and the situation will change. I'm going to finish the YouTube video soon. You're not going to listen to me anymore, and the rain is going to stop at some point. The basic structure of the present continuous is am, is or are plus verb ing. Look at our examples from earlier again. We use am with the first person singular, I. We use are with the second person singular and plural, you, as well as the first person plural, we, and the third person plural, they. Last but not least, we use is with the third person singular, he, she or it. Just like with the present simple, there are a few spelling rules in the present continuous that you need to follow as well. Look at these three verbs. What is their ing form and how do we spell it? Feel free to pause the video for a second to think about it. Okay, these are the correct ing forms. With most verbs, like cook or study, we simply add ing to the base verb. These forms are regular. However, with verbs that end in e, like live, we remove the e and then add ing. With verbs like get, where the last three letters are consonant, vowel, consonant, and the last letter is not y, we double the final consonant and then add ing. To make the negative form of the present continuous, we simply have to add not to the auxiliary verb. Look at this example. I'm recording a YouTube video right now. Now let's make this verb form negative. I'm not recording a YouTube video right now. I just added not after the auxiliary verb to make the verb form negative. We can do the same thing with the other auxiliary verbs in present continuous, are and is. We simply add not to make the verb forms negative. With are and is, we can also use the contracted forms of are not and is not. To make questions in the present continuous, we have to be careful with the word order in the same way we do in the present simple. Look at this example again. I'm recording a YouTube video right now. Let's check the word order in this statement. We start with the subject I, and then we follow up with the auxiliary verb am, and then the main verb recording. So the word order is subject, auxiliary verb, main verb. Now look at the question form. Am I recording a YouTube video right now? Let's look at the word order in this question. We start with the auxiliary verb am, then we continue with the subject I, and then with the main verb recording. So the word order in this question is auxiliary verb, subject, main verb. As always, there are some exceptions to the rules of when we use present simple and past continuous. In English, there's a group of verbs that we call state verbs. State verbs describe situations as well as mental and emotional states instead of actions, and we typically don't use them in the continuous form. Look at these examples. In both sentences, we talk about something that we are doing in this moment. I'm eating the pizza right now, and I'm trying to do the exercise right now. You might think that we should use the present continuous in this situation. But because the two verbs love and understand are state verbs, we have to use the present simple. You see that we have to be careful with these verbs, and you might be wondering what all the state verbs in English are. Luckily, I've created a list of state verbs for you, and you can download it completely for free if you follow the link in the description box below. This way you know exactly when you can't use the present continuous. As a little bonus, I want to share a secret use of present simple and present continuous with you that not many students know about. Present simple and present continuous can actually be used to talk about the future as well, even though they have the word present in their names. However, we only use them in very specific ways. Look at these examples. These sentences talk about events that are on a timetable. We cannot change the time because someone else decides when the train leaves or when the shop closes. So we can use the present simple to talk about scheduled or timetabled events in the future. Now look at these examples. The sentences talk about arrangements in the future. I know exactly when I'm meeting my friend tonight at 8 p.m. and when I'm going to the dentist's tomorrow morning. In these examples, I have decided when I want to do these things. So we can use the present continuous to talk about future arrangements. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you feel more confident with the present simple and present continuous. You can practice these verb forms with the exercise that I've prepared for you. I can also be your teacher. I offer online classes as well as writing feedback. All the links are in the description box below, and I see you next time.